think leadership and teamwork is always important. Whenever people are coming together to try and achieve something, it's just super crucial.
You have sailed over 80,000 miles across the world's toughest oceans. What led you to a career in sailing?
Yeah, I mean, not the usual way, or not the way that you might expect. It's not like I've been sailing since I was, 4 years old and all of those kind of things. I actually really only got into it at 21. So it just shows that you can be, perhaps a bit later in your life and still get into something like this and achieve quite a lot. And the way that I got into it, I'd actually just finished my business degree, and I was sat at a kitchen table with my dad. And he was sitting there reading the newspaper, as he always did. And then there was a picture of an old tall ship, which are these old ships with these kind of big kind of sails that you have to climb the mast to set the sails and all of this stuff. And it was an article on a race called the Tall Ships Race. And the Tall Ships Race is for people between 16 and 24. At least the majority of the crew that does it are between 16 and 24. And I said to him, wow, that looks amazing. And he said, well, look, you just finished your degree. If you apply for it and you go through all the selection criteria and you make it and everything else, I'll back you, because there was a cost associated with it and everything else. And you know what? I did that. And I sent off the form and I had my interview and everything else. And I managed to get through, and I managed to get on that race. And fundamentally, Megan, it changed my life, because over the next kind of 10 years or so is when I did my 80,000 miles. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I never really looked back. So it's funny how your life takes you sometimes.
What inspired Navigate the Storm? And what does the immersive real life case study entail?
Well, Navigate the Storm is the title of my keynote speech. And Navigate the Storm is really looking at a particular race, which was the culmination of my career. I was lucky enough after 10 years to have climbed the ladder enough to be skippering. But actually, I ended up skippering a team in a round the world yacht race. And this was a very particular event. It was called the Global Challenge. The Global Challenge was unique in many ways. And not least of all, the fact that it was about ordinary people trying to achieve an extraordinary thing, in that anyone could take part in this round the world yacht race. And my crew applied to do this thing from all over the world, all different ages, backgrounds, and nationalities. So long as you're between the ages of 18 and 60, you can sign up. So what we end up with is a real slice of life taking this thing on. And basically, there are 12 teams like this, identical teams of these kind of mixed, diverse amateurs. And in one way or another, we as skippers have to lead them around the world. But interestingly enough, the route is even very challenging. It actually goes the wrong way around the world against the spin of the earth. And Navigate the Storm is really me sharing my experience about what was it like to lead a team like that, and what is it that I learned as a leader and we learned as a team, as to how to navigate these constantly changing conditions in a very, very competitive environment. Not unlike the environment that businesses find themselves operating in today. So Navigate the Storm is really about letting people get under the bonnet of this sporting endeavor. But many, many, many of the challenges that we face were very much the same as businesses are facing in this kind of stormy world of today. So that's what Navigate the Storm's all about.
You focus on 3 key values: safe, happy, and fast. Why are these 3 factors important in business?
Yeah, well, safe, happy, and fast is the key learning that comes out of Navigate the Storm. But interestingly enough, it was actually the values that we chose on board our team that we felt were going to be really important for us. And actually, we kind of validated them across the race. And if any team pays attention to these 3 things, that will provide the environment for high performance to flourish. So let me just talk about safe, happy, and fast. Interesting enough, safe just isn't about physical safety. Obviously, we were operating in a pretty risky environment. But this isn't just about physical safety, allowing people to be physically safe. crucially, it's about creating an environment of psychological safety. And psychological safety is really trust in teams. It's that we've got an environment where people feel safe to be part of the team, safe to say what needs to be said, critique the strategy, suggest an idea, but also if they're struggling, safe to be able to put their hand up and say, look, I don't know how to do this, or actually, I'm just struggling with this in one way or another. Can I get some help? And that's super crucial for teams. And in fact, it's the absolute foundation for a high performance team, create an environment of psychological safety. So that's the first thing. The second thing is about happy. You know, you can have the greatest bunch of individuals, but if they're not happy in what they're doing or happy in working together, then we're never going to get high performance out of them. So whatever is standing in the way of them being happy, we need to pay attention to. And so whenever we weren't happy, we thought about, well, what is it that's stopping us, you know, stopping that happening, and how can we address that? So that's the second thing. Got to get people happy again. And look at us post-pandemic, when people are in such a mixed mindset about where they want to work and how they want to work. Well, we need to be paying attention to that and really thinking about how can we get people happy again and wanting to go after it rather than having to go after it. And last but not least is we need to be fast. You know, Megan, slow boats never win, never on the race course, interesting enough, never in business. You know, if you've got a competitor that just has a more efficient way of doing things or makes it easier for their customer to interact with them and buy from them, then the customer is always going to take the path of least resistance. And a lot's changed through the pandemics, and it's really challenged our existing business models. We need to very quickly be thinking about how we adapt and change and be agile in relation to that. And that's what being fast is all about. It's really about who can learn quickest. And certainly for us on the race course, us versus all the other teams, this was a learning challenge. You know, who can deal with the challenges that we face quickest, because ultimately that's who's going to be ahead on the race course. So that's what Safe, Happy and Fast are all about. And we really kind of proved, you know, the importance of those things, you know, through this case study.
Why is leadership and teamwork so important in adventuring?
Well, I think it's so important in any environment where people are coming together and going out there to, you know, achieve something special. And adventuring is always that. You're always trying to climb a mountain or trying to sail around the world or whatever else it might be. I guess, you know, it just heightens the importance of that, because you are operating in an environment that actually, if you aren't at your best, you're really going to kind of pay the price, especially when you're competing against others. So I think leadership and teamwork is always important. Whenever people are coming together to try and achieve something, it's just super crucial. You know, it's a bit like us, you know, the boat isn't going to go anywhere without people working together. And it's not going to go anywhere fast without them working together well. And all roads lead to leadership in order that happens or not, because we create the environment that happens. So, you know, it's a crucial thing, and it always will be, no matter what the environment.